Hybrids are everywhere now, no longer just the quirky Prius on the road. From McLaren P1s to Ferrari LaFerraris, even supercars have embraced hybrid systems for that extra punch of performance. Today we're diving into 10 hybrid maintenance tricks drivers ignore. Battery cooling system checks. Hybrid batteries are massive, heavy-duty units designed to last years. But like engines, they generate serious heat. Heat is the #1 killer of lithium-ion cells, and hybrids run them hard, charging during braking, discharging during acceleration, and constantly cycling in traffic. Daily hybrids, like the Toyota Prius, use simple air-cooled systems, ducts, fans, and filters that push cabin air over the pack. Supercars like the McLaren P1 or Porsche 918 Spyder use liquid cooling with dedicated radiators, pumps, and coolant loops. Both systems are vulnerable, and daily drivers, pet hair, dust, or even grocery bags clog cooling vents. In liquid-cooled supercars, coolant breaks down just like engine antifreeze, losing its ability to absorb heat. Before, drivers start to notice their hybrid losing stamina. EV-only range drops, acceleration feels softer, and in worst cases, warning lights appear for overheating. Owners often assume their battery is failing, a nightmare scenario that can cost $5,000 to $15,000 in a commuter car, and over $100,000 in exotics. But often, it's not the battery itself, it's heat after. Simply cleaning the ducts, replacing clogged filters, and flushing coolant restores performance. Prius owners have reported recovering 10 to 20% of lost EV range by servicing the battery fan. Porsche Panamera e-hybrid drivers see smoother transitions between electric and gas power once the cooling system works properly. In performance hybrids, where batteries deliver hundreds of horsepower instantly, proper cooling ensures you don't lose power halfway through a lap. Regenerative braking maintenance. One of the coolest things about hybrids is regenerative braking. Instead of wasting energy as heat, the car captures it and feeds it back into the battery. The problem? This system steals work from the traditional brakes, and that's a double-edged sword. In normal cars, braking heats the rotors and pads, keeping them clean and functional. In hybrids, regen braking handles 70 to 90% of daily stopping. That means your rotors don't get hot enough, rust builds up, pads glaze, and calipers may stick. Before, you'll press the pedal and feel inconsistency. Sometimes the car stops smoothly, sometimes it brakes late. Owners of the Acura NSX Hybrid often complain of weird brake feel. When the regen system tries to hand off to the physical brakes, the rusted rotors make it worse. On track, poor brake health destroys lap times and confidence. No driver wants unpredictable stopping power at 200 km per hour. After. The fix is surprisingly simple. Exercise the brakes. Once or twice a week, do a strong stop from highway speeds to let the pad scrub the rotors clean. Brake fluid should be flushed on schedule, since hybrids often keep fluid cooler, and that allows condensation to build. Ferrari actually advises SF90 straddle owners to keep their brakes exercised to ensure the brake-by-wire system blends seamlessly with regen. Transmission fluid for eCVTs and DCTs. Hybrids use transmissions that are often misunderstood. Toyota and Lexus hybrids use electronic continuously variable transmissions, while performance hybrids like McLaren's Artura and Ferrari's SF90 use dual-clutch gearboxes. Both are marketed as low maintenance or even sealed for life. That's misleading. Before. Over time, fluid breaks down, losing its ability to cool and lubricate. In daily drivers, this means sluggish response, hesitation during acceleration, or strange noises. In performance hybrids, it's worse. Launch control stops feeling explosive, shifts slow down, and track performance falls apart under heat. One Prius driver reported losing 15% fuel economy because of old transmission fluid. After. Regular fluid changes every 40 to 60,000 kilometers or sooner under hard use restore sharpness. Porsche Panamera e-hybrid drivers who serviced their DCT reported launches that felt like new. McLaren Artura owners have noticed smoother integration between electric torque and gearbox shifts after updates and fluid swaps. Software updates aren't optional. When most people hear software update, they think about their phone or laptop. But in hybrids, software is just as crucial as hardware. Every single aspect of a hybrid's behavior is controlled by code, from when the combustion engine starts to how the regenerative braking blends with friction brakes, to how much torque the electric motor sends to each wheel. Before. Owners who ignore software updates often complain of weird behavior that feels mechanical but is actually electronic. For example, a Toyota Prius might start its engine more often than needed, burning extra fuel because the software miscalculates the battery's charge state. In supercars like the Ferrari SF90 Straddle, can mean torque vectoring doesn't respond quickly, making the car feel unpredictable in corners. Drivers sometimes think the car has a hardware fault, but in reality, it's just outdated code. After. Updates can bring hidden improvements. Toyota has released firmware patches that improved fuel economy by 2 to 3% simply by changing the logic for engine start-stop. McLaren rolled out updates for Artura that refined throttle response and improved hybrid system reliability during launches. Owners describe their cars as feeling like new again. Even safety systems benefit. Brake-by-wire calibration, battery management, and cooling fan logic are all controlled by software. Hybrid inverter cooling. If the battery is the heart of a hybrid, the inverter is the brain. It converts direct current from the battery into alternating current for the motor, and also flips that process during regenerative braking. This back and forth creates a massive amount of heat. That's why inverters have their own cooling loops, separate from the engine. Before, when the inverter overheats, it immediately cuts back on power to protect itself. Drivers suddenly feel weak acceleration or flat spots when flooring the car. On a Prius, this might mean sluggish city driving. On a Porsche 918 Spyder, it could mean losing the instant electric punch that helps shave seconds off lap times. Owners often misdiagnose this as a failing battery when in fact it's simply heat soak in the inverter. After, servicing the inverter coolant, flushing it at proper intervals, topping it up, and ensuring the pumps are working restores full power. Nissan engineers, when developing hybrid GTR prototypes, found that fresh inverter coolant directly correlated with consistent lap times. Drivers of Lexus hybrids report fewer error codes and smoother power delivery after coolant service. Tire choices matter more than you think. Hybrids put unique demands on tires. They're heavier than their gas-only counterparts, thanks to batteries and electric motors. And unlike combustion engines that build torque gradually, electric motors deliver it instantly. That shock load chews through tires, unless you choose the right ones. Before, many hybrid owners downgrade to cheaper tires to save money. The result? Reduced grip, longer braking distances, and worse efficiency. Regen braking also becomes less effective if the tire can't grip and the system can't capture energy properly. A BMW i8 owner once reported losing nearly 10% EV range after switching to budget tires. In high-end hybrids like LaFerrari, wrong tires make the car feel sloppy and rob it of its razor-sharp handling it was engineered for. After, the difference with proper tires is dramatic. Daily driver hybrids regain efficiency with low rolling resistance tires designed to handle the weight. Prius owners report 5 to 7% improvements in miles per gallon after switching back to factory-spec tires. On performance hybrids, it's even more critical. The McLaren P1 was tuned around Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2s. Owners who replaced worn tires with the correct spec immediately noticed tighter steering, stronger cornering, and faster lap times. Cooling down after hard driving. Everyone knows you should let a turbocharged engine cool down after hard use. What most people don't realize is that hybrids need a similar routine, not for the engine, but for the battery and inverter. Before, drivers who shut down immediately after spirited driving trap massive amounts of heat inside the hybrid system. This thermal soaking accelerates battery degradation and stresses electronic components. Owners of early hybrids like the Prius often wonder why their batteries died prematurely. Part of it was poor thermal management after use. In high-end cars, this can mean losing battery performance in just a few years. After, letting the car idle for a few minutes, or leaving it in accessory mode activates fans that cool the pack and inverter. The Porsche 918 Spyder manual explicitly recommends this cooldown procedure after track use. The payoff is huge: consistent lap times, longer battery life, and far fewer thermal limit warnings. Hybrid-specific oil maintenance. On paper, hybrids use their engines less often, which makes drivers think oil changes can be stretched. In reality, hybrids create a perfect environment for oil contamination. The engine shuts off frequently, which allows condensation to build up inside. That water mixes with oil, creating sludge faster than in normal cars. Before, drivers who stretch oil intervals find their engines filled with sludge, leading to rough starts, misfires, and clogged oil passages. A Prius driver who ignored oil changes opened their valve cover after 100,000 kilometers and found that the inside looked like black tar. In supercars, the damage is even more catastrophic. A Ferrari SF90 with contaminated oil risks serious engine damage that can cost tens of thousands to repair. After, The trick is to follow time-based intervals, not mileage. Even if you only drove 5,000 kilometers, you should change oil at least once a year. Lexus LC500H owners who keep up with annual oil changes report buttery smooth transitions between EV and gas power, while Prius owners note better miles per gallon and longer engine life. Battery reconditioning and balancing. Hybrid battery packs aren't monolithic. They're made of dozens or even hundreds of individual cells. Over time, these cells drift out of balance. Some charge faster, others discharge slower. The car then treats the entire pack as weak, even if most of it is still healthy. Before, owners notice shorter EV range, sluggish acceleration, and worse fuel economy. In many cases, the car throws a scary battery failure warning. Replacing the pack can cost $5,000 in a Prius and well over $100,000 in exotic hybrids. Many drivers panic and sell their cars early, thinking the battery is done. After, reconditioning services test, rebalance, and revive individual cells. Prius owners often regain 15 to 20% of lost range, and fuel economy jumps back up. In performance hybrids, rebalancing ensures the full electronic boost is available for launches and corner exits. Owners of the McLaren P1 who reconditioned their packs describe the car as alive again, with instant torque restored. Don't ignore weight distribution mods. Hybrids carry extra weight. Batteries, inverters, cooling hardware, and wiring. Where that weight sits completely changes how the car handles. Engineers spend millions balancing this. Aftermarket mods and poor maintenance can throw it off. Before, a noisy heavy BMW hybrid feels clumsy compared to its gas counterpart. A McLaren P1 with worn mounts or misplaced ballast feels unpredictable in corners. Even daily drivers notice it. Uneven tire wear, understeer, or a bolt-like feeling in turns. After, performance owners invest in weight balance kits, lighter brackets, carbon fiber cooling ducts, and titanium mounts to restore balance. McLaren P1 owners who did this cut 0.2 to 0.3 seconds per lap at Silverstone. For commuters, simpler fixes like proper tire rotation and suspension checks even out wear and make the car feel tighter. So, which one surprised you the most? Did you already know about hybrid-specific oil changes, or was it the idea of inverter cooling that caught you off guard? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into car tech, hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell, because hybrids are only going to get more advanced, and drivers who know these tricks will be the ones enjoying every second behind the wheel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.